Greetings and welcome to Conversations with David Ibarra. Today, we not only have a guest, it's been recommended that we have a guest host that wanted to interview me on the things that I am passionate about. So, welcome Mike Hill, our guest host.
Well, our guest host, which is going to be a conversation with David Ibarra.
Cool.
So with that, David, let's talk a little bit about your passion. What is your passion?
Well, my passion is to help people get what they want. There's so many people that wake up on a Monday morning and they go to work to jobs they don't like. They are privately suffocating in unhappiness, slowly committing spiritual suicide. And I happen to believe if you can gain a win at work, then you send a whole new person home each night, a better parent, a better partner, a better neighbor, and that we can be involved in changing this world one person at a time.
Okay, David. So when a business owner comes to you and he wants this coaching, how do you start? What is step one?
Well, step one is determining exactly what is it that you want. And I'll ask them, well, tell me why are you here? And most often it's the same answer or a similar one. They're concerned about protecting capital or growing the capital of their business so that they can grow their enterprise. Now, my job is to introduce them to the second half of the success equation. Capital's the first thing. If you don't have any capital, you're not going to be successful. But the second part that is equally as important is you better be willing to understand that talent is equal to capital, and the only way you're going to grow your business and protect your capital is through the development of talent. And what that means is people. So you have got to become a people person real quick. And frankly, if the individual business owner can't put their arms around that, well, then, we're not the company of choice that should be helping them.
So when you do decide that you've met with this business leader, that you've talked to them about the importance of talent and capital, and they understand that, what is step two? Where do we go from there?
Well, first of all, we determine what it is that you want. Is it an increase in sales? Is it the better development of people? What is it you want? So we put it into a purpose statement, followed by what skills are you going to need to achieve it, followed by what actions are you going to have to put into motion repetitively with faith that it'll achieve your desired end result. And then, teaching a readiness level that you get geared up to rev your engine, the brain model engine of how your brain works, so that you can move yourself into a positive state of mind and execute those actions with meaning so you can achieve your end. Now, with that being said, it first starts off with some very basics. And that's to look at the business and to see where the deficiency is and to help them develop a process and then to coach them. Coaching is much different than mentoring. To coach someone, you're teaching them how to perform an action with enthusiasm to give the entity a personality, a theme. So coaching is teaching the fundamentals. And I believe it's phase one of the journey to success. It's called controlled success. What does that mean? That means the individuals have to know why we're doing it. And they've got to invite me or one of our coaches to come in and assist them control some of the actions that they do by giving them some accountability so that they can have the stick-to-itiveness to master the action.
Once they get to that step and they understand that and implement that, then where does it go?
Well, the next stage of success in the success journey is then entering the rhythm of success. Now, once you've had controlled success, meaning you know how to do it, it at first may feel a little clumsy. But after you've done it weeks, months, then all of a sudden you feel yourself getting into a rhythm. And when you enter the rhythm of success, you're enjoying the action, and you need less controlled assistance and accountability because you know and you're in that rhythm. When you've entered the rhythm of success, and you've done that rhythm for hundreds and hundreds of days, then you move into stage 3. And stage 3 is entered to you ascend, you become enlightened, and you enter the habit of success. What does that mean? You do it without thinking about it. It is part of your DNA. Now, that's when you become a non-drifter. A non-drifter is a goal setter and score keeper. They don't work for income. They work to win. They work to dominate their markets, and they understand what it means to have a specialized talent team. They cannot do it alone. You need to have a team of people that believe what you believe and participate in putting their minds together, because when they do and they work in harmony, they enter something called the genius zone. There's no such thing as a genius by themselves. It's a collective group, and you can do great things like Disneyland did, like where I came from, Bob Farrell and Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor was able to achieve. Like we look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A that almost doubles the sales of a McDonald's on 6 days of the week rather than 7 days of the week. And what is their process? They will outcare every single interaction with their guests. They outcare. One of the complaints that cities have about Chick-fil-A is they have an overflow of people waiting to get their takeout food, and they drift into the street, causing traffic jams. And this was occurring during the pandemic. That is the genius zone. That is the ascending to the habit of success. It's part of your DNA. And that's our ultimate win, is to have somebody in charge of their own thought, in charge of their own destiny. And frankly, they don't need us to be their coach anymore. But we have an expectation of them, though. And that expectation is of them, and we tell them from the very start, they got to be somebody else's coach.
Talk to us about that, David, how they could move that on and become that coach to the next person.
Well, when I was a youngster and 18 years old, I was lucky enough to have a job which I thought was going to be the most insignificant job in the world, a dishwasher at Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor restaurant. But then I met Robert E. Farrell, the owner. Then we had 25 restaurants, and he would come to visit about every 2 months. He noticed something in me, and he told me that he was going to introduce me to my other self, the believer. Because currently, who dominated my soul was the disbeliever. I didn't believe success was meant for me. He became my coach, teaching me the processes of Farrell's, and that Farrell's big idea was to have someone come in and celebrate an event, a birthday, an anniversary, somebody going to the service, returning from the service, whatever it was, and leave with a smile and a little dose of happy-itis. That was our job. Now, once I got that, he told me there'd be a payment. I said, well, what am I going to owe you? He says, you have to teach this to others for the rest of your life. So I started something called time tithing, where on a Wednesday night, anybody who gets on my schedule, I'll coach them the processes of controlled success, the rhythm of success, and the habit of success through 10 rules to the game of life. Now, you can get part of this story in my book, Stop Drifting. By the way, Stop Drifting can be accessed at stopdrifting.com or on Amazon to get the book in audio, Spanish, or English. And we tell our stories. And why did I just put a plug in for my own book? It is my responsibility to get this lesson to as many people as we can. And that's what we intend to do. Take a moment and picture in your mind igniting your child's journey to lifelong success from an early age. With Yes, Our Kids Can, this vision becomes a reality right from preschool. Don't miss this chance to shape your child's path towards extraordinary success. Enroll in the Yes, Our Kids Can University now and witness the remarkable impact it can have on your child's growth and development. Secure your child's bright future today. Sign up now by clicking the link below.
Talking about Stop Drifting for just a second here, because I've read the book numerous times, but talk to us a little bit about that coaching. You've put a whole bunch of different coaching situations that you've had over the years into one story. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. I took my experience of working in different enterprises, and what do I come up against? I come up against the same thing every time. We come in, some people will want to be to the change meeting, others won't. And it's my job is to connect with them, to get them into stage one, to coach them, to help them develop a purpose, develop a process, and then begin to execute it with enthusiasm. It's not easy. It takes some time. But we go ahead and share in Stop Drifting a story, it's a fiction story, and it's what has happened most often, and we took those experiences and turned them into an exchange between two fictional business owners, Tom Stanley, who was a drifter, just getting through the day, the week, and the month, hoping that he'd be successful someday, and a Daniel Santos that was a goal setter and score keeper and couldn't wait for the day to start. And we share a story of success using the principles of purpose, of a specialized talent team, of actions. Nothing happens until an action is put into motion, and we articulate that in our story. And that if that action is done with faith, you're going to have good reaction to your action. We talk about the readiness level and why is it important, and we talk about extra mile, personal initiative, self-discipline, controlled enthusiasm, controlled attention, accurate thought, and entering this seventh gear, which we in our story we talk about, which is creativity. And that's where all good things happen, and you set yourself apart. So it's a story that's about 120 pages. It's a fun read, but you learn the principles through a fiction story.
David, you take that story and all the things you do. Why do you do what you do?
I believe that most of us, about 87% of society, are just getting through life. And they entered this world in a thought setting, a family that is either negative thought setting or a positive thought setting. And then they became whatever their environment taught them. Now, if you were born into that 13% group, you had an advantage. But the 87% group just don't believe that success was meant for them. I was born into that group. Now, I broke out, and anyone else can, if you choose to. So just because your thought setting was maybe a disbeliever doesn't mean that you can't become a believer. But it will require that you eliminate some of your bad habits and bad thoughts, can't do, and replace them with good habits, habits that you believe and you can do. And so I will spend the rest of my life, the rest of my career, teaching how it is you become the switch master of your own mind and can pivot to positive. And when you're in a positive state of mind, good things happen because the law of attraction kicks in and like attracts like. Positive attracts positive. But be careful of what you think because negative attracts negative as well. And if negative attracts negative and negative attracts more negative, you can enter the negative nut house. And I'll tell you what, it'll be crowded in there. And sometimes it's difficult to get out. But when you're walking the journey of success, you are going to feel some loneliness because oftentimes you'll be walking with a very, very small group. But you can grow your group. You can grow your tribe. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. There's no other that is my purpose. That is what I believe I am here for.
David, I've met and interacted with a tremendous amount of people that you have coached and mentored, and you have even mentioned that, wow, they've come to that point. When do you determine that they have achieved what they should achieve and can now move that to now they become the coach to other people?
Well, Mike, it really is quite easy. When you go in and they're teaching you what you taught them, and you see them teaching it, and you see them ascend to the habit of success by becoming and referring them as the dean of their college, and that they have a university in which they develop talent, and they understand that the richest person on earth is the one that has the most impact on others. That's to be rich. And when I see they're rich in the development of talent, then it is time for me to walk off and start working with somebody else because they're doing exactly what I was doing, so I should be doing it somewhere else. They're doing it with someone else, and the next person, the next person, the next person. And that's how we build an army of leaders that can develop talent and make a difference of who comes home each night.
So, David, what do you have up and coming now?
We have some exciting stuff coming up in May. You know, part of my task, part of my journey in life is to share the secret of success with as many people as I can. So we helped develop and are partners with a documentary film that will be debuting red carpet on May 4th called Beyond Think and Grow Rich, where 8 individuals are interviewed about the power of thought. Well, I am honored to be one of those 8 people. And then right after it, we'll come out with my new book called Beyond Think and Grow Rich, where as a disciple of the work of Dr. Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich, I've written it in my voice, modernized it, reorganized it, just as Dr. Hill told all of us who are disciples of his work to improve it, to improve it, to improve it. And those two are our big next things coming up in May and June.
So the movie coming out, and I've seen the previews of it. Wow. I can't wait to see the full movie.
Beyond thinkandgrowrich.com. There you can see the red carpet, buy your tickets, and you can also see where the movie can be accessed for view. It will absolutely change your life.
David, this has been absolutely inspirational. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching Conversations with David Ibarra.
Well, thank you, Mike.